Hello, once again. Welcome to another episode of After the Whistle. March Madness is upon us. We got brackets here that we'll be filling these out during the show, and probably by next week we'll probably be ripping them up. That's usually how it goes. Todd's back. He's fresh out of teaching them wild kids. So he's here. We're here. We got a lot to talk about, but yeah, let's get right into it with the March Madness, and we're gonna go region by. We don't got enough time to break down each team's players and all that stuff. We're just going region to region. We're gonna tell y'all who we think we're gonna win. We're gonna do the women's too, but we're gonna start off first with the East region. Duke is the #1 overall seed throughout this tournament. Not surprising, the year they had and the run they had in the ACC tournament. So let's go through this. I think Duke might not break a sweat the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, I can see that. Definitely.
Because Mississippi State might be a problem for them. Mississippi State might give them a tough time, but yeah, I don't.
I don't. Only real problems I see them having, maybe if Louisville gets out, Michigan State gets out, LSU.
Yeah, because there's no reason this Duke team shouldn't even sniff the Sweet 16 or the Elite Eight. Because if they get upset, we're gonna be looking at Krzyzewski like, all right, bruh, this has been the past 6 years. You've been getting the 1, 2, 3, 4 top recruits, and you've got 1 title to show for it. Because I think it started with Jabari, right?
Yeah, I think so.
It started with Jabari, and then the next group came and they got it. The Jaleel Okafor, Tyus Jones, Justice Winslow, and those boys, they got it. And then, but the rest of them, they just kind of been a disappointment from him.
I mean, Coach K he jumped on the wave because before he was against that one and done. Then he realized how I won't say how much effective they are, how effective these players are, and it's one of those things like you're gonna miss out on winning. Yeah. It's like, who would do that? And then he kind of just had to, was state property to get down and lay down? Yeah. He had to lay down because all these Coach K's and everybody were getting these top picks and
also coaching the U.S. Olympic team, that kind of helped them in the recruiting circle. There's been certain people been saying that, but there's a lot of coaches that that's in there, but like this guy's been getting that team, he's been using that to his advantage. And
definitely.
It's a dirty game.
You got to use all your tools, your tools to your advantage, especially if you're coaching USA. You don't know what connects they have, what outlets they have. Yeah. So, and he sees an opportunity. But, Coach K is one of them coaches where, like, once other coaches start doing stuff, it doesn't really get, like, that exposure till Coach K starts doing it. Mm-hmm. Like I said, Coach K, my bad. Cal was doing this for years, and now that Coach K's doing it, it's kind of like it's bigger than what it was before. Yeah, I mean, Cal got criticized like crazy for it. Coach K kind of got a pass for it. But I mean, I think they'll go through that first game. Whoever they play North Dakota State. This VCU UCF matchup, that might be a tough one. UCF got that 7'6" guy, Taco Falls, man. Taco Falls. That guy's tough. I want to pick VCU just because that's a family school. My cousin went there. But I'm going to go with UCF on that one. Honestly, I was looking at Taco Falls a matchup problem for a lot of teams. Yeah. I don't think they're going to get past Duke, but if they happen to get past Duke, it'd probably be because of him. Because he's 7'6". You can't teach height. And in college basketball, 7'6" is like God in the whole entire paint. Yeah. He's a liability defensively when they play other teams, but 7'6", 7'6", bro. And he's one of those 7'6" that's actually can do stuff. And he didn't average double-double, but he almost averaged a double-double. And he got better every year, though. So he's one of those players, like, he started off real raw, rough around the edges, and he's starting to figure out his game, but he's 7'6", bro. Like, there's nothing you can do with 7'6". Yeah, definitely. So in this East region, we basically got Duke going to coming out of there because we don't see nobody like Virginia Tech, Liberty. I'm gonna go Virginia Tech, St. Louis, and who's they playing? Maryland and Belmont. People are saying Belmont's gonna upset them, but I think Maryland's gonna take that one. Yeah, I got Maryland taking Belmont. So there's folks that pick Yale over LSU. Yale has not seen athletes like they're about to see with LSU. A lot of people ain't seen LSU either. Yeah, Nas out there. Yeah, that's a boy. That's a man right there. Those are some athletes out there. Then Minnesota, Louisville. That might be a good game. You got
Pitino's son coaching Minnesota. You know, Pitino used to coach Louisville. He used to be on that staff.
But you don't know which Minnesota team's going to show up because they had a rocky year. And with Coffee, if he don't play well, they don't play well whatsoever.
Yeah, definitely. And Michigan, Bradley. I think Michigan's going to make it. I think Michigan's going to go to the Sweet 16 or make it as far as the Elite Eight. I think that's how far.
I can see Michigan State running to Duke.
Yeah, I think those two are gonna run into each other in the Elite Eight. That's gonna be an interesting matchup. All right, let's go down to the bottom to the west bracket, and Gonzaga. We were talking about this. I thought Michigan State should have been the number 1 seed over them because what Michigan State did, they won their conference tournament and they won their conference regular season and the conference tournament. So I think, and Gonzaga didn't even win their conference tournament. So I think Michigan State should have got that one. But Gonzaga, I think they're gonna have some problems with Syracuse.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
You know I root for the Qs.
Yeah.
So I'm always gonna. But yeah, you never know what Gonzaga team's gonna show up. They might be the one that beat Duke or the one that lost to St. Mary's.
You don't know what Syracuse team's gonna show up either.
And that too is what's his name back? The one with the back problems. I forgot his name.
Battle or
it might be Battle. I'm not sure. But I know one that back problems.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure.
So I think he might be back.
Yeah. As I look in this region, the matchup I'm looking forward to is the 5-12 between Murray State and Marquette. You got two of the best guards in college basketball. We got Ja, you got Howard. These two, I think those two are gonna put on a show.
They definitely are because they're two different type of guards. Yeah. Howard's a shooter, scorer, and what's Murray State? Ja Morant. Oh, yeah, Morant. I never knew his first name.
Oh, yeah.
I never knew his first name. My bad, Morant. But Morant, he controls the game.
Yeah.
So it's either Howard's going to shoot the lights out or Morant's going to control everything.
Yeah, so I think Murray State. I think Murray State might get
Murray State.
Yeah, I got Murray State in that one. I think they might, because I think he wants he said he wants to prove something because they've been saying he hasn't played real competition, so he's out to prove something. So I think that. And you go down the line to some of the dangerous teams in this bracket. Texas Tech, that's a very dangerous team, and also Buffalo, that's a really dangerous team. So there's some teams in here that you just never know when they meet up because. I believe Texas Tech, they got a chance to, because they didn't make the Final Four, Elite Eight last year.
I think it might have been the Elite Eight.
I think it was the Elite Eight.
They've been pretty good all year.
Yeah.
They've been top.
They finally dethroned Kansas for that regular season title. So.
Kansas had a rough year.
Yeah, rough. So who do you think in this bracket is going to make it to the Final Four?
I mean, I could see Michigan and Syracuse personally.
Yeah. I can see Michigan and Texas. I can see it's either Michigan or Texas Tech, but I think Michigan might, just because of their experience. And for some reason, whenever it's tournament time, they just turn it up a notch. They play differently in the tournament.
Yeah, they've been playing. I mean, they've been playing pretty well all year. Yeah. They've been a high-profile team all season. So.
Yeah. So we got in this region over here, we got Duke and Michigan in the Final Four. That's just, Fab Five, that rivalry. That was back in the early 90s between Duke and Michigan. That'll be interesting.
That'll be dope.
That'll be interesting. The ratings will be crazy for that one. All right, so we go back to the other side of the bracket. We'll start off in the South. Virginia. Virginia is everybody knows how I feel about Virginia. I tell everybody this every year. Don't trust Virginia. Don't pick them to make the Final Four. Heck, I might not even pick them to make it to the Sweet 16, but just know if you got Virginia winning it all, just your bracket's done. They're not going to win it all just because their style of basketball doesn't equate in the tournament. But I mean, the first matchup, I think that should be a cakewalk for them. Ole Miss, I think Ole Miss is going to win their first game. I think that matchup with Ole Miss is going to be a little tough.
Yeah, I can see that. Ole Miss been solid all year, and Virginia's just kind of they don't really. What's the word I'm looking for? They proved the haters right.
Yeah.
Because when they say they ain't gonna do nothing, they don't do anything.
Yeah, that's me.
So prove some of the skeptics right and show that you guys are just more than just a finesse shooting team. Right.
If you look at them, they really don't have a guy that, all right, this is a back and forth game. Everybody move out the way. Let me get a bucket. They don't have nobody on that team that's like that. Because some of these other teams, they have at least one gut person like that. But watching them throughout the season, they don't have nobody like that.
They might be a bunch of system guys.
Yeah.
That just do well in the system. So hopefully the system does well for them in the first couple rounds.
Yeah. I know some upsets that people are saying that we should watch out for is Oregon over Wisconsin and St. Mary's. The St. Mary's over Villanova. I'm not too sure about that. Wisconsin's usually always tough. They're just always a tough team to beat. And I've watched Oregon a few times, and they just don't know which team is going to show up.
Oregon's been rolling, I tell you that.
Yeah.
The past couple of weeks, they've been rolling. That's how they got in the tournament. But Wisconsin's just, they're known for winning. Tournament time comes, they value possessions, and they just play solid. They don't do anything extravagant, none crazy. They just play solid basketball. So I probably got Wisconsin winning that one. Yeah,
I think I got Tennessee coming out of here and making it to the Final Four out of this region because Tennessee's been tough all season. Their big men have really controlled it. And their guards, too. Their guards have been playing well. One thing we know about the NCAA tournament, it's a guards tournament. Guards, your team's outcome depends on the guards.
I mean, in all reality, when we watch basketball, who you really watch?
Yeah.
The guards, because they do most of the work.
Yep.
But I honestly, I was looking at Tennessee, too, because they've been top team all year. Like you're saying, their guards are solid, but their bigs are more like wings. They're not just like regular big men. So they can get out, stroke the three, tack you, you know what I mean? And you take you off the dribble, so it's going to be a high matchup. So I could see Tennessee coming out for the first time in a while.
Yeah, I think I got them coming out that South region. Who do you have coming out that South region?
I just said Tennessee.
Tennessee?
Yeah. I don't see anybody else really competing with them.
Man, either that looks like it might be the weakest.
Oh, but a sleeper might be Villanova, though.
Yeah.
A sleeper, Nova always better in the tournament, especially the past couple of years. And they had a rough start to the season, but they figured it out towards the end.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised but I think this might be Tennessee's year.
Definitely.
All right, and lastly, we go to the Midwest region, and we got North Carolina over here, the number one, the last number one. 3 ACC teams got the number one seed, which has basically been the best conference in the league. But I thought.
It's the big ACC, man. Don't forget that.
Yeah, that's true. The big ACC. But I don't really. They're saying the people who watch a lot of college basketball and all these teams are saying that Utah and North Carolina will meet in the second round, and Utah may give North Carolina a problem. But with North Carolina is if you're not conditioned, you're gonna have a hard time with them because those guys after each basket, they're getting up and down the court, especially Kobe White. That guy, he's a one-man press break, a one-man fast break himself. And I think Nazir's been coming into his own, and he's kind of figured out his niche in that system. So North Carolina, I know they're still upset about that Texas A&M loss last year, so they're trying to, redeem themselves.
I mean, I know Utah State's all right, but they're over here just overlooking Washington like Washington wasn't nice all year.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I really heard about from the Pac-12 was Washington mostly. When Ball got hurt, that's the only reason why I was watching the Pac-12, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they get past Washington, they might have a chance against North Carolina, but North Carolina has just been running through people.
Yeah.
And the only team that's really going to stand in front of them are the high-caliber teams, I think, this year.
Yeah, definitely. This seems like it's one of those years that's going to be the Blue Bloods that are going to make noise. But there are some tough matchups if we were to look ahead. Auburn, if they could get by, they might, because they did have a good run in the SEC tournament, winning it all. I don't know about Kansas. I think Northeastern might get them. Because Kansas, one of their best players, he took a leave of absence, so he won't. Vic, I forget his first name.
Okay,
but
Vic,
he won't be on the team, and this just hasn't been a Kansas year. So,
man, to be honest, like when they have like these incoming freshmen, quote unquote high profile top draft picks or projected draft picks, why don't you understand that all these kids have to get adjusted to the college system?
Yeah.
So Kansas is a victim of just having freshmen.
Yeah.
That's really all it really is. Like, God forbid a freshman has to figure it out and play well as sophomore year.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Everybody's not made for the league right away.
Yeah. At the bottom of this region, there's a Sweet 16 matchup that may be intriguing between Kentucky and Houston. Those two teams, that may be an intriguing one. But Wofford is going to be a tough out. Seton Hall too. That's going to be a good matchup because Wofford they played a lot of top teams well, so I can see them. But I think we're going to have a little Sweet 16 or Yeah, we're gonna have a Sweet 16 matchup with Houston and Kentucky. I think.
I can see that. To be honest, the Midwest bracket looks very competitive.
Yeah.
Like a lot of teams who compete and come out of this bracket compared to the other three. It seems like they actually put more thought into this bracket compared to the other ones.
Yeah.
But I don't think people are gonna really stand in front of Kentucky. They figured themselves out. They're playing like a top team, like we project them to be all season long.
PJ Washington, I like him.
Honestly, he was the main person I was talking about when it comes to being a freshman, having to figure it out. Because he was a high-profile freshman coming in, and then it didn't go according to plan.
Yeah, last year. Yeah, and then in the tournament, he started playing well in the tournament. And I mean, he made the smart decision of coming back because his game has been elevated.
Yeah, sometimes your body and your mind isn't ready for Division I basketball, and you have to take a step back and just get better. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, definitely.
He's only a sophomore. Like, you serious?
Definitely. So, who you got in the two coming out? So you have Tennessee. Who you have coming out of this region?
You know, man, I'm gonna watch North Carolina lose in the Final Four.
Yeah, I got North Carolina. So national title game. I have first time ever Duke, North Carolina national title game. UNC taking it. If that actually happens, this might be the best thing to happen to college basketball if Duke and North Carolina play in the national title game. It'll be
dope, but I got Duke and Tennessee.
That'll be a different style matchup.
I gotta be a man of my word. I already said North Carolina wasn't winning nothing. I gotta ride with it.
That'll be a different style matchup. That'll be different. All right, we gonna go into the women's NCAA, and with this one, this might not be that. I mean, we ain't gonna lie. I ain't watched a lot of college basketball, women's basketball, but the games I watched, usually Notre Dame was running people off the court, and UConn was running people off the court. UConn is a number 2 seed. This is the first time since the mid-2000s that they've been a number 2 seed, and I think they won it that year. I forget.
They did.
Yeah, they did. Right?
Yeah.
So UConn's one of those programs. It don't matter where they're seated. You just know they're going to be there. And if you beat them, you actually beat them. Last year they lost off a buzzer beater, Notre Dame.
That girl, nice. That's actually DB's girl's cousin.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, small world, right?
Small word. But yeah, so that game was crazy. And it took everything Notre Dame had to win their lives to beat UConn and win the title. So this year it might be more of the same, but I think UConn will redeem themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I know America was mad at UConn not being the number 1 seed, but they lost to 2 of the number 1 seeds, Baylor and Louisville.
Yeah, those are the only 2 losses of the season.
Yeah, and they're just having a down year according to the people that
2 losses.
Yeah, I mean, that's rare when the standard is that high. That 2 losses is a down year for you guys. But honestly, it shouldn't matter where they were actually seated because they're in Albany.
Yeah.
So they're basically home. So who really cares?
Yeah, definitely. And with this, and in the women's tournament, there's usually probably 1 or 2 upset, but usually the Final Four is always the top seeds. It's always at least 3 1 seeds are always in there, or
there isn't much
1, 2 or 3.
There's more. I won't say more parity is happening in women's basketball, college basketball, but there isn't much parity in women's basketball.
No, there isn't.
Top 5 teams usually the best.
Yeah, and it's always the same top 5 teams: UConn, Notre Dame, Tennessee, Baylor, Mississippi State. Dude, yeah.
I mean, some schools are coming around.
Yeah. Tennessee's been they've fallen off for a while now.
I mean, man, it's the ghost of Summit. Like Pat Summitt she's kind of like the creator of all that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That whole culture.
Yeah, definitely.
But the boys have kind of stepped up and.
Some are saying they should get Candace Parker to coach them. I don't think Candace Parker wants to coach at this point. She got a nice little thing going on.
I think she looks perfectly fine being an announcer.
Yeah.
I don't think she wants the headaches of coaching and dealing with recruits and parents and too many outside resources.
So, Final Four, who do you have in this? Because I have all 1 seeds going to the Final Four in this one because I don't see. Well, I have all 1 seeds in UConn. 3 1 seeds are going to be in it.
My Final Four. I try to watch some girls basketball. Some of the games are intriguing. The ones that aren't ranked teams really aren't. So I'm just going to go Baylor, Mississippi State, Notre Dame. I'm going to go with UConn only because they're in Albany and Louisville's in New York.
Yeah.
So it's like...
Yeah. And one thing about UConn, it's hard to beat them girls twice. Yeah. It's hard to beat them twice. Gino, if you beat him once, all right, but the next time he plays you, it don't go out the way because they might blow you out the next time he plays. So So there you have it. So I got UConn winning it all.
We from New England, man. UConn's gonna win it.
And there you have it. You check back in with us if any of the teams we pick win or lose. I'm gonna rip my bracket up on the show like I did last year. So keep watching because these things never go as planned, as we all know. So let's get into some NBA news. Russell Westbrook got suspended for picking up his 16 technical because Klay Thompson put the clamps on him and he got frustrated and started doing crazy Russ stuff, unnecessary stuff, and you just got to be smart. Why you get Russ? Come on, man.
Yeah, it's one of those. It probably was a little embarrassing moment because he did have a little tantrum. And Klay making it worse, laughing at him. That's type of stuff we do. So, and Westbrook's so intense that he probably got so mad somebody like Klay did that to him because Klay is like non-athletic whatsoever compared to Westbrook.
Nah.
So he's probably like, "What? You serious?" And he said he had a moment. Give Westbrook a break. He had a tantrum.
Yeah.
He all right.
There's only a few games left in the season, so he just need to keep it together until the playoffs. But people actually forget how big Klay Thompson is because he's 6'7". Mm-hmm. He's 6'7". I don't care who you are, you're gonna have a hard time getting by a guy who's 6'7" when you're 6'3", 6'4". So,
yeah.
Come on, Russ. Use your head, man. You should know better by now.
Yeah.
It happens.
He's just intense.
Yeah, it's way too intense.
Too intense.
The Clippers, these guys, they've been on a tear. The Clippers been on a tear. Lou Williams, I think he passed Jamal Crawford he surpassed Del Curry for most points from a bench player, like 11,000 or something like that.
But has that passed Jamal? Or he's still on the,
I don't think he's passed Jamal.
Crawford's my guy.
Yeah, I don't think he's
One
passed
of my
Jamal.
favorite players right there.
But the Clippers, they've been playing well. People thought they were gonna be on the outside looking in, but they've actually, they're making a run for the playoff spot for the last couple, number 8 or number 7 spot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they've been playing well. It's good basketball.
I mean, yeah, they got back on track. They started off the year well, and then kind of slowed down a little bit, came back to reality.
Yeah.
But now they're figuring it out and they're making a good push. Plus, they know like one LA team got to be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Might as well be them.
Yeah, too bad.
Lakers don't want it.
Yeah, the Lakers are already on vacation. But I think what they need to do with the Clippers, they need to move them to Seattle. There's no reason there should be 2 LA teams, especially no matter how terrible the Lakers are, it's still Lakers town.
I just feel like it's a hassle. Like 2 teams, 1 building, you always got to change the floor, do this, change the banners. Like growing up, I didn't even know the Lakers and the Clippers were in the same building. I thought they were just in the same state.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And then there's like 4 teams in that state. What you got? You got both LA teams, Sacramento, Golden State, and who else?
That's it.
Yeah. That's good enough amount of teams for one state. Yeah, so you should ship one to Seattle. Why not?
They need to go. Seattle needs a team because I think a lot of players love going up there too, and those games are crazy.
Seattle's a depressing place to be because it rains every day. They need something to cheer themselves up. I heard it was like the #1 suicide rate, Seattle.
All that rain, man.
Yeah, man, you need something to cheer the city up, but bring back the Supersonics.
They need to do that. All right, Joel Embiid and Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Greek Freak. Yo, these Nigerians, they got too many crazy last names. I can't.
I ain't gonna lie, you're right.
I can't. But they put on a show the other day. The Greek Freak had about 50 and I think 16 or 17, and Joel Embiid had 40. It was just that was a big man matchup right there that NBA loves to see.
Yeah, I mean, John's actually had 52 and 16, 7 assists, and Embiid had 40, 15, and 6 assists. So, it was a great game. It's shown the world that the league's in good hands for the future to come. And 2 of the best players in the league right now.
But people have been saying Giannis has surpassed LeBron, is a better player than LeBron, which I think is nonsense because LeBron could actually make jump shots now. Giannis, you back up off him, he can't even hit the rim.
Like LeBron, for one, I feel like I'm not a big LeBron fan. I respect the man, but I feel like they've been trying to push him out of the spotlight for so long with KD, Steph, Now this dude, like, man, let LeBron be LeBron.
Yeah. Well, KD, I can understand. I can understand with KD.
No, but this is what I mean, like earlier.
Oh, yeah,
like before KD was KD.
Oh, yeah.
Like earlier, they were just trying their hardest to just push him in the front. It's like, man, let the man figure it out. He'll get there.
Yeah.
But like, Giannis though, he hasn't won anything.
Not even a playoff series.
So it's like, what has he really done? Yeah, he looks great. Dunks every time he's in the paint. Cool. He's taller than LeBron. He's supposed to. Like, so what does he really want? One, to be thrown in this category is surpassing LeBron.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man, stop that.
Yeah, come on. Well, this is a good playoff seeding because right now they're still the number 1 in the East. The Sixers are number 3. They got a big game with the Celtics tonight. The Celtics pretty much have owned the Sixers for the past couple years. So that's going to be a good matchup for playoff purposes. And also, last night, D'Angelo Russell.
That boy's balling.
27 points in the fourth quarter, 44 points, career high. He had himself a game. I think he's coming into his own zone now.
Nah, definitely. He's comfortable. And, yeah, it's a great year for him. All-Star year. He's figured the league out. I honestly think he figured out his position and what he needs to do to make that team successful.
Yeah, honestly, getting out of LA was probably the best thing that happened to him.
Bro, getting out of LA is the best thing for most people, I feel like, unless you're Kobe.
Yeah, that's true. So, yeah, but this team, he's got them in position for at the 7th seed for the playoff push. And a lot of people didn't think they were going to make the Nets were going to make the playoffs this season. But Russell, Karis LeVert, those two guys, they're actually a good 1-2 tandem. And also Spencer Dinwiddie.
Oh, yep.
Those three young guys, they got a nice little three-headed monster.
They had to change the culture of the team. They're so used to being the bottom of the barrel. You know what I mean? Consistently losing past couple years, being talked crazy because they're in Brooklyn. So he figured, you know what? I got traded here. Why not us? I'd say probably why not us? And then when he's solid, very solid. Yeah. He's like he was starting at one point, right? Before Russell got there.
Yeah.
So like he was balling. So. You give guys an opportunity and a chance to see what they do, and some guys produce.
Yeah, and these guys are young too, so it's nowhere to go but up from here. We could say they're the best team in New York. So the other team in New York, we don't know what the heck they got going on over there.
Nah,
but, yeah.
Not at all.
Oh well. All right. That's our little NBA basketball segment. Now time for some football. Last week, as soon as we got off air, the Chiefs released Eric Berry. Their best defensive player, which kind of was a surprise, but knowing the NFL, it's not. If you look at Eric Berry's career with the Chiefs, he missed an entire season because he had due to cancer. He also, 14 career interceptions, 3-time first-team All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler, 14 career interceptions. So the Chiefs, they picked up Tyrann Mathieu, but they lost a great player for that defense. And I think him and Matthew could have worked together. Could have worked well together.
I heard he was getting slowed down by some injuries, something to his Achilles and his knee problems. He had Achilles, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And knee problems this year. And he was their 5th pick in 2010. Played over 9 years. I figured his time was his time.
The Cowboys are good. The Cowboys brought him in because did we talk about Earl Thomas getting signed to the Ravens last week?
No, but I know they were looking at Eric Berry because Earl Thomas got signed.
Yeah,
I know that.
Yeah, definitely. The Cowboys missed the opportunity because Earl Thomas wanted to be there. So why not? This is why people just roll their eyes at the Cowboys. But I'm sure Eric Berry will get hired. Will get picked up at some point. Now, also, Tyreek Hill is under investigation.
Yeah, bro. I seen that. This is for some child abuse or something like that. Is it a 3-year-old or a 3? There's 2 cases.
There was 2?
Yeah, one was I think child abuse, and don't quote me, but I think the other one might have been domestic violence. I think one was like two separate ones. Like one was domestic violence and child abuse.
Violence was.
Bro, I don't know. I read the article and it was two separate cases.
I think they probably mentioned the domestic violence.
All right, then. This other one was child abuse. Then.
Yeah. So I think he was about to receive did he sign the contract? I know they were getting ready to give him a contract, so this is quite the time for him, especially, right now it's still under investigation, so we don't, we're not making strip, but if this comes out to be true, then it's like, oh, damn, buddy, you kind of supposed to keep it low-key.
Now, question, how long ago was this? Is this recently? I couldn't find the date.
I'm not sure.
Because my thing is, he's supposed to sign a deal, and all of a sudden this just happens to come out.
Yeah.
Like, for one, it's unfortunate this happened, but I'm hoping this is recent. Compared to this being, you know what I mean, swept under the rug, and all of a sudden he's getting this paycheck and they throw it out there now. It's like, bro, like.
Yeah, that'll be a little.
Yeah, that'd be kind of crazy.
Yeah, crazy. But right now it's still under investigation, so we'll see what happens. Maybe it's just, you know, sometimes with these child abuse things, there could be a parent yelling at a child and somebody call and say.
I mean.
But
hopefully the child's all right. He got a broken arm.
So we'll let you know what happens. But yeah, for Tyreek Hill, for a guy in his position, especially for his little history with, we'll see what happens. The Dolphins, they signed your guy, Connor Fitzpatrick.
Yes, sir.
They signed him. Ryan Tannehill, they released him, and he signed with the Tennessee Titans. Dolphins don't want to win, basically. They want to be entertaining, but they don't want to win.
If you see, I'll show you my note in a second. You'll understand that I don't have much of a comment on this. Yeah. But who really cares?
Yeah. Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's going to go in there, he's going to throw that ball. We don't know who's going to catch it, but he's going to be slinging that ball. Maybe his team might catch it, maybe the other team. All we know with Fitzpatrick is he throws a lot of touchdowns to his teammates, and he throws a lot to the other team.
Yes.
His comment was the Dolphins ain't going nowhere. That's what he wrote on
basically,
paper. The Dolphins ain't going nowhere. And yeah, they really aren't going anywhere. I just feel bad for Brian Flores, the former Patriots defensive coordinator who got that job, because he's dealt a terrible hand. Like, how am I supposed to succeed if this is what you guys are?
Sometimes you just gotta look in the mirror and just thank the Lord you have a job, and they're paying you to be there.
And you're in Miami, so
just take all the other stuff you can take from it.
Enjoy Miami while you can, because you'll probably end up being the scapegoat when the GMs and the owner should be the scapegoat, but they'll make you the scapegoat since you're the coach. But enjoy Miami. The weather's nice, and there's a lot of good sights and
Disney,
good things to look at
every weekend.
Yeah, and you could just go to the beach and there's good stuff to look at and all that and people. Lastly, Bengals, they re-signed Tyler Eifert, he was coming off an injury. They released Vontaze Burfict. Burfict signed with the Raiders, which is a typical Raiders signing because Burfict is a Raider. He's basically what the Raiders do. He's a dirty player, he don't care, and that's the Raider mentality.
I'm all for it. You know me, hey, you gotta win.
Yeah.
It ain't about how you win, it's winning. But what was the other guy?
Tyler Eifert.
Eifert. All I know about that man was the mullet. Oh, no mullet back there?
Nah, there's no mullet.
But I heard he's starting the season with no mullet now, so I don't really know anything else about him.
Yeah, he did have the mullet at one point. He's actually a good tight end. His problem is staying healthy. He's always getting hurt, or something's always happening. I think last year, he hurt his leg or season-ending injury, but that's another team. They ain't going nowhere. They stink. They're the Bengals.
So I don't know about them.
Yeah, they're the Bengals. Yeah. They're the worst team in Ohio at this point. Sorry, Cincinnati. And lastly, the Giants released Odell. We talked about that last week, and they signed Golden Tate. I don't know how much. I don't know. This isn't really an upgrade, but okay, I guess. You still have Eli Manning. Eli Manning can't throw the ball 30 yards, so I don't know how this is going to work. Golden Tate, last year, he played with Detroit for 7 games before being traded to Philly. So 7 games in Detroit, 44 receptions, 517 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And then in 8 games with Philly, he had 30 receptions, 278 yards, and 1 touchdown. He's probably going to get 20 receptions for the whole season playing with Eli Manning. And get traded midseason.
It wouldn't matter if the Giants signed, like, Megatron, like the actual Transformer. Like, Eli ain't throwing the ball to nobody.
Facts. Facts. Noodle arm Eli, yeah, this is true. So
the new Chad Pennington.
Yeah. No, I don't know what in the world the Giants are doing. I honestly don't know what the Giants are doing. I have no idea what they're doing and they're talking about they might not draft a quarterback in this draft. Yeah, they're talking about Dwayne Haskins doesn't fit.
I'm hoping like this upcoming season they got us looking like fools because I don't know what they got up their sleeve.
And the GM is so he's full of himself. He's talking like saying him and Odell didn't see eye to eye. He was making it more about himself and trying to win the battle between him.
You ain't helping nobody win out there.
Yeah, he's really not. He's really not. And what's crazy is the Giants, just a couple years ago, they benched Eli for Geno Smith.
That just tells you enough, right?
And I think they're trying to rekindle something or make it up to him for doing that.
I'm telling you, I feel like big man and their daddy, I forgot his first name. I feel like he got some type of relationship with somebody in there, or they owe Eli a favor or something, like I said last week. Something's up. I don't get it. Maybe they're trying to give him a farewell tour. They might be trying to do that. That might be the favor.
They should have done that years ago.
I mean, I thought he was going to retire years ago, but...
The way he's been playing, I thought he retired 3 years ago.
The way he looks, the way he's playing, he just look like he's just ready to go. Like...
Yeah, he looked like he want to sit in the backyard and drink his Heineken and just watch the kids play.
He got 2 Super Bowl rings. Like, what else you think you going to win?
Yeah. I don't know.
Just take those and go, fellas.
Yeah, just take it and leave.
Give somebody an opportunity. Like, you're just holding up a spot, I feel like.
Facts. All right. We're going to go to Athletes Corner. We had Antonio in here, state champ. We talked. Good conversation.
My guy.
Yeah, so check it out. And then we're going to come back, probably wrap up the show, because I don't know how long we've been rambling. So, Athletes Corner. Welcome to Athletes Corner, special edition. We have a state champ here. Coach of the year, state champion, Mr. Antonio Anderson. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. Not much. Thanks for having me.
You're a champion, man. Has it sunk in yet? Are you still trying to process what just happened over this weekend?
Still trying to process it all, man. Since Saturday, it's been a quick turnaround. So it hasn't really sunk in yet, but I'm sure it will.
And just talk about the season for you guys. You guys, you came in, you had a lot of talent, but you had to get them to buy into what you was trying to get them to accomplish. You worked them hard. And just talk about this overall, everything that they went through just to get to that point. Oh,
man, it's been a journey. From the beginning of the year, you have new guys. Janelle, Jack, all these guys, and you're trying to mesh them with guys who've been there, Alonzo, Mason, all these guys. They understood their roles. Guys really weren't ever selfish, and they were all about the team. Our message as the coaches was, just to buy into being good teammates, being all about the team, all about winning, and the stats and the accolades they come amongst themselves. So once they figured that out, we shut off.
Yeah, I think for me, watching as a fan, I think that game against Needham, I think the Comcast tournament was really, that's when you guys hit y'all stride, because since that tournament, it was just like everything came together for them.
Yeah, I think those were the kind of games we needed. In the beginning, we had a tough game versus St. Mary's, lost that one. Another tough one, Mansfield lost that one. Then we get into the Comcast against 2 really good teams, 2 Division I teams on the south side of things. And we had to fight, man. We had to figure out a way to win. And guys made plays to win games. I know hit 2 big shots to win that tournament. And from there, we had 12 days off from then into the start of the tournament against Lawrence. And during those practices was brutal, man. And I'm watching and I'm like, they get it. They get it. And that woke me up a little bit.
Yeah, and did you sense that they knew what was at stake by the way they were practicing?
Oh, definitely. I think they knew too. Once we won that, we knew we were the 1 seed. Mm-hmm. We also knew we had a target. When you always win the top 2 or 3 seeds, mm-hmm. everyone's aiming.
Yeah.
I think we played some tough competition, man. We had to play teams from Merrimack Valley. It was a tough league.
Yeah.
So those are your first 3 games,
yeah.
And then you get a North team was hot, beat Brookline, beat Mansfield. Mm-hmm. Then we get to Putnam, man. So it was just it was an all-out war. Almost 5 games, but they did it.
Yeah, and what was me as a fan watching, what I was impressed with, not the offense, it was the defense. Because Saturday's game, they started off a little slow. Putnam got a few baskets. Putnam got off early. And then from then, probably like towards the end of the first quarter, for the rest of the game, they locked in on defense, and they made it tough for Putnam to get anything going on offense.
Oh, definitely. I agree. I think we gave up 6 points, 7 points in the second quarter, after giving up 17 in the first quarter. And I'm like, this isn't us. We have to still do what we've been doing to get us to this point, regardless of the stage, regardless of the bright lights. You gotta stick to what we've been doing. I think they settled in, and once they settled in, we started making our defensive reads like we're supposed to, scheming how we wanted to, and things started clicking for us.
Yeah. Can you talk about some of your role players? We'll get into the starters, but some of your role players like Calvin when he came in, Joaquin when he came in. The minutes were down a little bit in the final game, but when they came in, Calvin really played solid defense for the minutes that he was on the court.
Oh, definitely. Those guys go up against our starters every day. When they have that kind of confidence, I have that confidence. And when they get in, they can make plays. Calvin's a senior, man. He started for 2 years. Came off the bench the last 2, but was a huge piece to our puzzle. Same with Joaquin. Came in, made big shots. There was Lawrence. Hit a big one in Songus. So these guys find their niche, they find their way to help us in any way possible, and they could care less about scoring or shooting. They do what's necessary to win, and that's what's huge.
Yeah, and then we was talking about this a little off the air. We talking about Alonzo's game from last year to this year, because last year you had him more as a swingman, do everything, had the ball in his hands to create for others. And this year he changed his game to he was in the post a lot this year, and he really, a lot of teams didn't have an answer for him when he got down in the post.
Yeah, man, I think we figured that, I spoke to him before the season and said, I think there's ways to get you the ball a lot more, just without you dribbling it. You create more mismatches for people. And he just said, Coach, whatever to win. I'll do whatever we want for us to win. And man, the boy was on the tear the last couple of months of the season. Ended up averaging like 18 or 19 a game, 11 rebounds, something like that. He ended up playing a role that he didn't think he would. But it helped us offensively because it causes guys who are literally big men to cover a guy who's a guard, who's just tall.
Yeah.
We just shook it up a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Now, you guys been getting an overwhelming amount of support. Just talk about that game, because it seemed like everybody in the city was at that game showing the team support. Everybody was at the Garden, too. So let's talk about the support that you guys have had during this run.
Oh, it's been huge, man. I think you see kids from other schools. On Saturday, we had 300 kids sign up for the buses from Lynn English alone, not counting the other Lynn students. Probably a couple hundred Lynn community people as well. So close to 700, 800 people in Worcester supporting Lynn English. It felt good to, every time I turned, I seen Maroon, I seen someone I knew, hugging so many people, shaking so many hands. Felt good, man, for it to be a group of Lynn kids who get looked at. Lynn as a whole gets looked down upon athletically. So to see it in a bright light in a spot like that was big time.
Yeah, and just talk about, for those that didn't know, you started off, when you were in high school, you started off at Lynn English before you transferred to Tech. Yeah. And, your family has a legacy over at Lynn English. Just talk about everything coming full circle for you to bring the state title, the first state title to Lynn English, knowing your brother has his jersey hung up there. You have cousins whose names are on there in the 1,000-point score banner. Let's talk about that for you.
Oh, it's huge. I think, my experience there basketball-wise wasn't the best. I was in a shadow of my older brother, who deservedly so deserved everything he got over there. So I went to Lynn Tech, man. They embraced me, Coach Avery, my teammates. And we won the state title over there. But then when it comes around, I get the job there. Now, I was talking trash to my brother the other day. Well, they took me to get them a title. You couldn't get one, But he was happy for me. All my cousins, Justin, AC, my cousin Craig High played there, Freddie, all of my family members who played there, 1,000-point scorers, so happy. They're all English alums. They're so proud to be an English alum, not just for basketball. They're always rooting for Lynn English, but for it to be their cousin who's coaching, it felt very, very special to them. I think Mr. Strange, to Mr. Newton, Mr. Malaya, Ms. Mancanello, all the administrators at Lynn English, man, been huge supporters, man. The teachers and the faculty been so supportive, man, giving me and the boys so much support all year, not just in the tournament. So it was a blessing to be able to walk in there Monday and see the smiles on everybody's faces, that Lynn English is in a good light like that.
Yeah, and lastly, before we go, now that they've got a taste of what it's like to be a champion, you know, how much anxious are they? Are they ready to just get back at it and try to do it again?
Oh man, we were in the study hall before I came here, and it's like, man, we're gonna miss having practice, you know. But like I told them after the game, man, like we got a great taste. Just got to be the expectation. You guys got to expect to be here.
Yep.
You know how hard it is. Next year we're gonna have people coming for us. You gotta work even harder. But I think the group you return 4 starters. You know, so we have a lot of leadership coming back. That's the good thing about it.
All right, man. Thank you once again. Congratulations on your accomplishment. You know, hopefully you guys get more hardwares in the future. But embrace this moment. I know it hasn't sunk in for you yet, but this is a great moment for the city. Just want to thank you for coming and just chatting it up with me for this time. So you guys been watching Athletes Corner. State champion, coach, also coach of the year, NEC, Antonio Anderson. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you when we see you.
Yeah, he was.
All right, thank you, Antonio. We're going to get back to them in just a couple minutes, but let's talk quickly. We got some baseball news. Mike Trout just got paid. He got paid. He got 12 years, $430 million. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Make you feel. You got when you say it, you just have to put on one of those faces like $430 million. You can't even say it with a serious face, but I mean, kudos to him. He deserves it. The numbers he's been putting up since he got into the league. Okay, say he got into the league in 2011. But he played 40 games that his rookie season. But following year, 30 home runs. The year after, 27. The year after, 36. The year after, 41, 29, 33. Last year, 39 home runs. So this guy's been producing. And he's in Los Angeles. He's in the market. And the great thing about this is he can walk down the street and nobody will bother him because nobody knows what he looks like.
Yeah, he seems like he's not really in the limelight a lot. He just plays baseball, does his little events, charity events, whatever, and just goes home. Like you don't ever hear about him being a problem or an issue.
Yeah.
So it's like he holds himself to a high standard as a professional. So it's like, why wouldn't you want to pay this man this money? He's gonna make sure your club is at the top for years to come.
Yeah, definitely. And also, they may have a chance of winning the World Series with him. There's nothing wrong with paying the best players. Because we saw Bryce Harper, he got paid about 13 years, he got $300 and something million. So we've seen these guys get their money. Baseball is the only league. Baseball, with the guaranteed money, it's all guaranteed. So the NFL is like the only league. But that's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
Now, with this contract, with him and Bryce Harper, Mookie Betts from the Red Sox, he's due for a big contract, and I could see Red Sox giving him something close to that, something similar to that.
I can see something close, but Trout's just the man. Like, when it comes to because I was looking at his stats, they were saying like he's ahead of like everybody.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All the greats at his age right now. It's like, dude, like he's killing. Like he was killing Barry Bonds' record in something, and then somebody else. I'm like,
he's got 240 career home runs.
Yeah.
And he's only 27.
Yeah. So.
And you know, baseball players, they go until they're like 45 or so.
Yeah, they do.
So
yeah,
I mean,
he might get another contract.
Yeah, he probably will.
But they were saying he left a lot of money out. He could have got 500. They were saying, but he's more or less worried about the team and the club being good for the next 12 years.
Yeah, well, congrats to him. Kudos to him on getting that contract. And, you know, he's finished, I think, top 5 or top 3 in MVP votings since 2012.
He might be one of the only guys in the MLB that he's actually paid for his work.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's be honest. Like.
Yeah. See, we know a little baseball. We know what we're talking about here. Come on now. All right, boxing. This one. Errol Spence, Mikey Garcia. It went 12 rounds, but Mikey Garcia's camp should have thrown in the towel because Errol Spence really dominated this fight.
I didn't bother watching it. I'll probably catch it in a day or two. I knew it was going to happen.
I watched the highlights. I watched all the recaps, and yeah, Mikey Garcia had no chance in this fight. I don't know if he even won any rounds, but yeah, there was a point where they should have thrown in the towel because he was getting dominated so badly. But they did. He didn't want them to throw the towel in. He wanted to stay there and take that punishment. And I mean, there's only so much punishment you can take as a boxer because all those hits to the face, to the body, and and you're not doing nothing, your punches aren't really affecting the opponent, it's like, all right, guy, come on now. You gotta sit this one out.
I'm just looking at this picture. And that face is saying enough to me. It looks like he just knocked all his thoughts hair back here. Like the picture's hurt. Like, the picture says enough.
Yeah, definitely. So, Errol Spence, I think with the next big fight that they want, I think is with Terrence Crawford. I'm not sure if Pedro, if you can confirm that with us, if you could yell. Well, Pedro ain't saying nothing, but I think Terrence Crawford. I think that's the next fight that they want to see. The people want to see is Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. And
I'll be honest, nobody really wanted to see this fight. To be honest, I didn't know who this guy was he was fighting. Everybody want to see Crawford and Spence. That's really what we want to see.
Yeah, they're talking about Manny Pacquiao because Pacquiao came into the ring. You know how boxers do that. You know, they'll bring in another boxer into the ring, and then they'll call him out to a fight. And it's like, dude, nobody wants to see Manny Pacquiao fight you. At this point, like, come on now, that's not a draw. I mean, it'll probably be a money grab for fanatic boxing fans, but real boxing fans probably don't want to see that.
He's not even a contender.
Yeah. So,
but this is what happens when you've been in the league, you've been in this boxing world so long, you're allowed to do what you want now.
Yeah.
So, Pacquiao only got a couple years left. So you know what, Pacquiao, do what you want. We owe it to you. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, boxing is like the only sport that they'll stall the best fights, and then they'll give it to you when nobody's actually interested in that fight anymore. When it'd be both fighters are kind of like on their last legs or washed. So, yeah, don't nobody want to see that.
Yeah, man.
All right, high school hoops. So we're gonna talk about state tournament. We're gonna wrap the show up. State tournament. Lynn English once again they're the state champions. That game was crazy. That was a big game for them. I think. More so with you, since you've seen it firsthand since Antonio got there, the work he's put in with all them kids and working with the girls, so you're there every day. I'm just more so happy that those kids got the enjoyment. They actually saw their hard work pay off, and there was tears all over that court, a lot of emotion in that game after that game.
Yeah, man. Long 2 years for Antonio, being able to witness it firsthand, me coaching the girls, but like, the city has been missing just a winning culture. They've been missing a winning culture. Like, I think the last team to win it was St. Mary's, but like, it's different when it's private school. Like, Tech didn't win it, Classical hasn't won it, English hasn't won it until this year.
Yeah.
So I get it. Like, it's a little different. So just seeing them and how hard they work and believing it, actually believing it, because it's easy to, it's hard to work with something you don't believe in. Yeah. But when they actually believe in it and they're all together as one unit and the school's behind you, it was crazy.
Yeah, definitely. Crazy. And in that game, they started off a little slow. You could tell they had the jitters for the first couple minutes, and then I think at some point in the first quarter they locked in on defense because there was a point Putnam couldn't even score, or they were just having a hard time doing anything on offense, and that's when in the English they used their size, their athleticism, and speed.
I wasn't worried at all, just because they're so well conditioned. They're probably the most in shape team in Division I in the state, to be honest. It's the way Tone runs them beyond running, like beyond running.
Yeah.
So it's one of them things like only way they were gonna lose, they just like quit the game. They weren't gonna lose, and it's just dope to see the city being able to experience and this generation being able to see and know the feeling to win a championship.
Yeah, definitely. And with that, maybe now that they got a taste of a championship, that should make them want to work even harder to repeat.
It should make everybody in the whole entire city want to work a little harder than they have been. Because let's be honest, nobody's really been working as hard as they should have been.
Yep, that's
other
true.
than English, because they out here producing.
Yeah, and we saw a lot of people, even kids that play on kids that play for Classical, kids that play for Tech, kids that play for. They were all there to see that, and just this is my first time seeing a team win a state championship.
Okay.
So it was like this is that feeling for them. But I was just more so happy for everybody involved in the program because it ain't easy to get to that point.
Nah, and for English being known as the only school to not win one, and they're like the biggest school in the city, as in division-wise.
Yeah.
So it's just dope that every school has one, and too, like I'm hoping like our girls seeing how hard the boys work, and how it pays off will actually believe in themselves and us when it comes to the beginning of next season.
Yeah, definitely. The funniest thing in that game was them trying to stop the people from rushing the court.
This Lynn,
I don't think that guy knew exactly what was happening or what he got himself into when the city of Lynn came to that, because, we don't know how to act.
That's why they don't never want us to win nothing. When we get to the venue, we mess it up. Like,
yeah, it took at least 10 minutes just for them to do the trophy presentation.
I mean, Tone a Lynn kid, so as soon as he got that trophy, he waved everybody on. They wasn't hearing nobody else.
Yeah, there wasn't.
No
also, the other funniest part was the cheerleader getting booed. The cheerleader from the other schools. That was. But my thing is though, like, they probably wouldn't have got booed if they weren't doing their routine from the stands. They didn't even walk out on the court. Like, come on now, you scared of the gym? Like, come on, ain't nobody gonna do nothing to you. They probably would have got booed even more intensely, but when they booed him, I was like, man,
it's Lynn though. It's Lynn, man.
Like, this is why surrounding cities don't like us. We don't know how to act. We don't know how to act.
I mean, no different than Red Sox, Patriots fans, man. We all.
yeah, that was crazy. But yeah, congrats to the Lynn English men's basketball team. State championships, first time in so long. And, it took an Anderson coach team to bring in the state title, knowing the history of the Anderson family and Lynn English. So that's good for them. Big ups to them. I think that's about it. You ain't got anything else you need to say?
No, man. Everybody have a great summer, spring.
Oh, yes. I want to say shout out to the typewriter gangsters and the haters that went on social media to try to discredit these young men's championship, talking about they had 50 seniors. So shout out to the haters who are hating on the Lynn English boys. Yeah. Be miserable, and they're going to keep laughing at you as they keep getting these chips. We out of here.